Today, we embark on a journey into the shadowy world of the Nazi International, a clandestine network that allegedly survived World War II and continues to exert influence over global affairs. Our guide on this journey is the meticulously researched book, Nazi International, the Nazis' Postwar Plan to Control Finance, Conflict, Physics, and Space, by Joseph P. Farrell. The story begins at the end of World War II, a time when the world was eager to see the Nazi regime dismantled and its leaders brought to justice. However, as Farrell meticulously documents, the Allied surrender terms contained a critical loophole. While the German military surrendered, the Nazi Party itself was not explicitly included in the surrender agreements. This omission, intentional or not, provided a legal and imaginative loophole for the survival of Nazism. Farrell delves into the strategic evacuation plans orchestrated by none other than Martin Bormann, Hitler's right-hand man and the de facto leader of the Nazi Party. Bormann, a master of bureaucratic manipulation, orchestrated Operation Fireland, a covert operation to transfer vast amounts of Nazi wealth, including gold, platinum, diamonds, and priceless art, to safe havens abroad. This treasure was smuggled out of Germany via unmarked U-boats, with Spain serving as a crucial transit point, and ultimately found its way to Argentina. But Bormann's ambitions extended far beyond mere financial gain. He envisioned a Fourth Reich, a global network of influence and power that would continue the Nazi agenda through economic and political manipulation. To achieve this, he implemented Operations Action Regentropfen and Adlerflug, Operations Raindrop and Eagle Flight, which involved German corporations establishing new alliances and contacts with foreign firms, all under the guise of preparing for a post-war commercial campaign. These corporations were instructed to utilize existing cartel and patent agreements to leverage borrowing power and influence abroad, effectively laying the groundwork for a global economic empire. Farrell argues that the survival of the Nazi International was not just a matter of financial assets, but also of key individuals who possessed the expertise and knowledge to continue the Nazi agenda. He identifies Martin Bormann, Heinrich Müller, head of the Gestapo, and Hans Kammler, head of Nazi secret weapons projects, as the unholy trinity at the heart of this network. Bormann was the financial mastermind, using his control over the Nazi Party's finances and his extensive network of corporate and intelligence contacts to orchestrate the evacuation of assets and personnel. Müller provided the security apparatus, utilizing his vast Gestapo network to ensure the safety of the operation and eliminate any threats. Kammler brought the scientific and technological expertise, overseeing the development of advanced weapons and technologies, including the infamous Nazi Bell, a device rumored to possess anti-gravity and other exotic capabilities. Farrell presents compelling evidence that these three men escaped Germany at the end of the war, using a combination of body doubles, false trails, and clandestine means. He suggests that Bormann and Müller may have escaped aboard the U-234, a U-boat carrying enriched uranium and other sensitive materials to Japan, which mysteriously surrendered to American forces. Kammler, on the other hand, is believed to have fled to Argentina aboard a Junkers 390 aircraft, taking the Bell and its documentation with him. The book sheds light on the crucial role played by Argentine dictator Juan Domingo Perón in facilitating the escape of Nazis to South America. Perón, who harbored sympathies for Nazism, established rat lines that allowed thousands of Nazis, including war criminals, to find refuge in Argentina. These rat lines were supported by the Vatican, which provided false documentation and diplomatic cover. Farrell highlights the existence of a joint bank account held by Perón and Bormann, containing a staggering amount of money and precious metals. This account, he argues, was used to finance the activities of the Nazi International and further its agenda. Farrell argues that the Nazi International adopted a strategy of dialectical manipulation of conflict, exploiting existing tensions and creating new ones to advance their agenda. They actively supported and manipulated nationalist and anti-imperialist movements in the Middle East, including the rise of Gamal Abdel Nasser in Egypt. Nazi scientists and military advisors, such as Otto Skorzeny and Wilhelm Voss, played a significant role in training and equipping Egyptian forces and intelligence agencies. The book also explores the Nazi International's involvement in the Jeddah Agreement between German companies and Saudi Arabia, which threatened Western oil interests in the region. This involvement suggests a broader strategy of using economic and political influence to challenge the dominance of the United States and the Soviet Union. Farrell delves into the mysterious Huemel Island fusion project, led by Austrian physicist Ronald Richter, which Perron claimed had achieved controlled thermonuclear fusion. While the project was officially discredited, Farrell presents evidence that it may have been a continuation of the Nazi Bell project, investigating advanced physics principles such as zero-point energy and plasma shock waves. He suggests that the project's anomalous behavior, including Richter's deliberate attempts to draw attention to its scientific deficiencies, was a calculated effort to discredit the project and divert attention from its true purpose. The presence of Prince Bernhard of the Netherlands, a former SS officer and Bilderberger, further complicates the picture, suggesting a possible connection to the Nazi International. Farrell draws upon the research of Richard C. Hoagland and Mike Barra to explore the influence of the Nazi International within NASA. He argues that the selection of mission names, logos, and the timing of missions, including the Apollo moon landings, were influenced by esoteric and occult symbolism, with connections to ancient Egyptian mythology and the legacy of the Third Reich. For instance, the Apollo program logo features the constellation Orion, which is associated with the Egyptian god Osiris, and the Apollo 16 lunar module was named Orion. Furthermore, the timing of the Apollo 11 landing coincided with the 25th anniversary of the failed assassination attempt on Hitler, and the Apollo 16 landing occurred on Hitler's birthday. Farrell suggests that these ritual alignments point to a hidden agenda within NASA, one that may have been influenced by the Nazi International. He argues that the Nazis, driven by their esoteric ideology and quest for advanced technologies, may have seen the moon as a repository of ancient knowledge and technology, and that the Apollo missions were, in part, an effort to recover these artifacts. The book paints a picture of a Nazi international that survived the war and continues to exert influence over global affairs through a combination of financial power, political manipulation, and control over advanced technologies. While the extent of their influence is open to debate, the evidence presented by Farrell suggests that the legacy of the Third Reich is more enduring than many realize. As we conclude this episode, it's important to remember that the story of the Nazi International is a complex and controversial one. While some of the claims may seem far-fetched, the book raises important questions about the nature of power, the resilience of ideologies, and the hidden forces that shape our world. Thank you for joining us on this journey. If you found this episode intriguing, be sure to subscribe and leave us a review. And if you have any thoughts or questions, feel free to reach out to us on social media. Until next time, keep learning and questioning.
This has been a BrightLearn video from BrightLearn.ai on the book Nazi International, the Nazis' Postwar Plan to Control Finance, Conflict, Physics, and Space by Joseph Farrell. Visit BrightLearn.ai for more fascinating videos like this one, and visit naturalnews.com for full editorial coverage and breaking news on critical stories that keep you informed and aware of what's really going on.